Good morning and happy Tuesday to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation, coming to you live from the red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned. Happy Tuesday. We're past the halfway point in December. We're 5 days away from the days, 5 days away from the shortest day of the year, daylight-wise, and then the days actually start getting longer, which will be nice. It's annoying. Like 5 o'clock at night, feels like it's 7. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't grilled yet. But it's not time to grill yet. It's annoying with the with the lights. So hopefully we get there. 5 days from now is the shortest day of the year. The official beginning of meteorological winter, right? But like everyone kind of considers winter December, January, February. But in the weather world, it's December 21st or so to March 21st or so. So meteorological winter begins in 5 days, but shortest day of the year, sunlight-wise. So the days will start to get longer soon, and we will be coming out. I guess you got to give it through January, through February. It's going to be cold, but then we'll start coming out of that winter slumber, that winter, malaise. And start getting some warmer weather and, start sweating a little more. That's all. Lots to talk about today, like a terror plot that was foiled in Los Angeles. But before we get to the terror plot that was foiled in Los Angeles, I didn't even want to give this oxygen today, but I'm going to have to do it. And I just want to kind of go on the record, as I didn't see this yesterday when we did the show, and then I made a post about it. And I just want to go on the record with regards to this this post that Donald Trump made about Rob Reiner, and there were people kind of upset about it. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say I was happy about it, right? I'm not even gonna say that I laughed at it. I just honestly, I know what I took from that, and the way I looked at it was I don't care. I spent time on X and I see all these people. This is gross. This is this. This is that. Okay, fine. Was it insensitive? I'll give you that. It was insensitive. Was it in poor taste? It was. It was in poor taste. Fine. However, some people are like, well, we got mad that the left celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. We can't give this a pass. He wasn't celebrating Rob Reiner's death. Again, if it was me, would I have sent a post like that? The answer is no. Okay? The answer is no. I'm not saying it's what I want him to do. I'm not saying there's not bigger or better things to go after than to, post these kind of, you want to call it a low blow. You want to say it was insensitive. You want to say, it's he's the president. We have to hold him to a higher standard. Whatever. But I saw the post and I was like, all right, whatever. Okay. And I moved on. But we had like a gajillion people yesterday, and this is not right. This is terrible. Who cares? It's a social media post. So, this was kind of and this is like my rubric and my path when I see things that folks are getting a little pearl clutchy about. And the pearl clutching was on the left, but then there were the usual suspects and some people outside the usual suspects on the right being like, is this what you voted for? I mean, let's be honest. That's the guy we voted for, okay? It's Donald Trump. He's nobody else. You got to take the bad with the good and the good with the bad. So this is what it is. I don't care. And he's like, well, if you don't care, why are you talking about it? Because everybody else was talking about it yesterday, and I want to go on the record. I made a post, but I want to go on the record on this show talking about how I feel about the Rob Reiner post, okay? I don't care about the post, period. Would I have sent that? No. Hence why I didn't say something like that about Rob Reiner. Matter of fact, yesterday on the show, I said senseless tragedy. Don't care about politics. It's a tragedy. It's a bizarre story. Politics don't matter. It's a shame what happened. It's terrible what happened. That's what I said yesterday. You can go back and watch that. But would I have sent it? No. Does it impact me in any way day to day? No. Does it address the affordability crisis that Democrats left us in the wake of Joe Biden? No. Will anybody care about it in the 2026 midterms 10 months from now? No. People go, yeah, people are going to care about it. People are going to care. The left is going to... They're not even talking about it. They're not going to even be talking about it tomorrow. They're not even going to be talking about it tomorrow. Do you honestly think that a year from now, Democrats are going to be taking that Truth Social post and put it on ads? Look at what Donald Trump said about a dead guy. Really? You think so? No. A post like that on Truth Social only matters on the internet. Nobody's even going to remember that it exists in a matter of days. Nobody. I'm not saying we can't criticize it. I'm not saying we have to promote it. I'm not saying we want to wave pom-poms and say, I want more of it, because I don't think we want to see more of it, because it's not productive in the other way either. But in the grand scheme of things, that post about Rob Reiner is probably going to be forgotten by tomorrow. Worst case scenario, maybe Friday. That's it. And so I saw a lot of pearl clutching. Now, I saw a lot of righteous, justified criticism. This isn't right. I wish he wouldn't do that. Fine, whatever. Me, I look at it. I see a Morning Consult poll that was released yesterday that has the Democrats and the Republicans in a virtual tie going into the midterms right now. It's a long way away. And I say, I want to win the midterms. And I'm not saying that's going to help us win the midterms. But you know what else isn't going to help us win the midterms? Freaking out about mean tweets in 2025 is not going to help us win the midterms either. Now, it would help it maybe if you say, well, we wouldn't freak out about it if he didn't do it. Fine, valid, totally no problem. But let's not contribute. Let's not throw gasoline on the fire that the left lit. And again, I'm not somebody who celebrates the death of political opponents. I'm not somebody who rubs dirt in the wounds of people who are suffering. I don't like that right after a tragedy like this. Again, that's why I said I wouldn't have sent it. But to be so consumed by that post, what I saw from so many people yesterday, and I said, what are we doing? What are we doing? Insensitive? Yeah, fine. Not in great taste? Yeah, fine. Is it really fodder to spend time and energy on? Clutching pearls and panicking over a Truth Social post? I really think that in this day and age on the internet, and this is a big problem, I really think that in this day and age, and this has been going on for a long time. Remember, I've been a sports fan for a very long time. I'm still a sports fan, right? And I used to see this all the time in the sports world. When the internet started getting popular with social media and there was a lot of sports posting and all of this, every time a player made a big shot or got a big hit or threw a big pass or scored a big touchdown or scored a big goal, they were the best player of all time. Wow, look at that. Look at this three-pointer. That's the best basketball player of all time. Michael Jordan would like a word. Not everything that happens online is the biggest, craziest, wildest thing of all time. Not everything. Not everything. Right? So, again, I'm not saying we can't be upset. I'm not saying we have to condone it. But to spend the amount of time that I saw so many people on our side, and I mean these are people on our side, not woke right. These are people on our side going, this is blah, 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 blah. For what? It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And I'm sorry, but if you believe that the Democrats are going to run their whole midterm campaign or even a portion of their midterm campaign and feature that post, I don't think you understand how politics is played. So I chalk it up to, was it a good look? Nah, probably not. Was it in good taste? Nah, it wasn't in good taste. Was it something that I would have posted? No. That's why I didn't post it. I posted about it. Is it something I'm proud of? No, I'm not proud of it. But is it something that I care about in the grand scheme of things? Absolutely not. You've got the expansion of Islam in the United States, and we're talking about a Rob Reiner post. You've got illegal aliens getting busted in Minnesota for stealing money from the American taxpayer, and we're clutching pearls over a Rob Reiner post. You've got terror attacks spreading throughout the Western world, places like Australia, places like Europe. You've got, again, the expansion, and it was Islam. It's just, guys, there are so many issues. There are so many issues that are more important than a post sent on Truth Social about Rob Reiner. Just feel how you feel. Fine. Because I posted this yesterday too, and this is really the truth. The online world, and I'm not saying this about anybody in our chat. I'm just saying this generally. The online world is addicted to outrage. Addicted. It's honestly the same thing that mainstream media, your local 5 o'clock news back before there was social media. It's the same thing that the viewers that tuned into those channels were addicted to. They're addicted to bad news. They're addicted to outrage. They're addicted to negativity. More people leave negative reviews than positive reviews on Google because they've got to vent this frustration. You have a bad experience in a restaurant, you're likely to tell 10 people. You have a good experience, maybe you tell 2 people. And I'm not saying that people are not allowed to be outraged. There are outrageous things that we should be outraged about. What I'm saying is, if you go online looking for something to be upset about, you're addicted to outrage, and you got to break that cycle because it's not healthy and it's not productive. And it will do nothing to achieve our goals. Look, is Congress doing a great job passing Trump's agenda? No. Is Donald Trump stepping on his own foot, shooting himself in the foot a few times the last couple of months? Yeah. Do Republicans have a turnout problem with Trump not on the ballot? Uh-huh. We've been talking about that for 3 years. But to hyperfixate on a Truth Social post that absolutely stopped short of celebrating his death, and if he had celebrated his death, I'd be all over him. Because I don't think we should be doing that. Okay? To hyperfixate over that all day yesterday, I said, oh my gosh. All right. That's that on there. We may have differing opinions on that, and that is okay. Again, it wasn't in good taste. It was not a good look. But in the grand scheme of things, in a day or two, it's not going to matter. It just isn't. All right. JBG Boxes says, in other words, get over it. Essentially. Okay? Essentially. And I will reiterate, what happened to Rob Reiner is a tragedy, and I don't want it to happen to anybody. Okay? I don't want to see it happen to anybody. All right. Let's take a quick break and get to a word from our friends over at OFP Farms. It's OFPFarms.com, OFPFarms.com. Ladies and gentlemen, deck the halls with cheer from OFP Farms, where holiday gift sets are jingling and ready to impress. Famous for their fabulous gift bundles, they have packed Santa's sleigh with goodies for every single budget. Now, hold on to your elf hats, okay? Because they're dropping a merry surprise with not a 10, not a 15, but a 20% discount on their wellness boxes, their gift sets, on everything on the website. By the way, here's the wellness gift set that they have here. I'll show you right now. Just in case you need a little inspo. Look at this. Look at this. First of all, the effort that goes into the packaging here is just second to none. It's unbelievable. But you've got the spray, the body spray. Stuff is real good. You've got this. What is this here? This is the hydrating skin salve. It's winter. Your skin starts cracking and bleeding, and this will help you get along. You got soap. You got Goat Kisses lip balm, which is my favorite OFP Farms product. There's so much in here for not just you, but think about other people. You got to do some last-minute Christmas shopping or maybe a late Christmas gift. OFPFarms.com and use the promo code SHAWN for 20% off of your entire purchase. That is OFPFarms.com. Promo code Sean, SHAWN for 20% off. OFPFarms.com. You see it on your screen. That is OFPFarms.com. Promo code SHAWN. I also have some exciting news about another friend of ours. You guys have seen him on our show before, Kelly Walker. He is fighting really hard for justice for those targeted parents, right? Those parents that were targeted by the Biden Department of Justice. And he is the founder of this amazing magazine called Freedom Talk Magazine. So I want you to listen to this, and I'm going to tell you a couple cool things about Freedom Talk Magazine right now.
America's founders warned that without knowledge and virtue, no nation can remain free. Yet through the steady infiltration of Marxist ideology, we have been stripped of both, and we are no longer a moral and educated people. To save America, we must spark nothing less than a national renaissance. That's why you need Freedom Talk Magazine, the journal of truth and virtue. We cultivate enlightened thinking and principled living, offering unique insights into the issues and remarkable people defining our world. Sign up today for your free subscription to Freedom Talk Magazine and join the new American Renaissance.
That's Freedom Talk Magazine, and there are two pretty cool options you could choose there. You could subscribe for free. That's totally awesome, and we'd appreciate that as well. There is a $5 a month option as well that you can choose to subscribe to if you want, and that goes a long way to help keep that magazine going. They feature a lot of amazing content. Kelly has featured our show in there a number of times. It has gone out to over 2 million people, so there's a lot of good stuff in there. You can subscribe for free if you decide that it's something that you want to support. Check it out. Freedom Talk Magazine. The QR code was right there on the screen. You could scan it with your phone and get involved that way. Thank you very much, Kelly Walker, and everybody. If you do feel so compelled to check out Freedom Talk Magazine. All right. There was a terror plot foiled in Los Angeles yesterday. Okay. And this goes in, I heard from a bunch of people, hey, you were pretty fired up about Islam yesterday. Yeah, I am fired up about it because they're the only group in the world that everyone's afraid to offend. Them and transgenders, right? Because the transgenders get violent when they are offended too. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Find me the last time somebody, a world leader, a country, a nation, a city, find me a time where any of these people were afraid to offend Christians. Or afraid to offend Jews, or for that matter, any other religious group besides Islam. Okay? Find me an example. You won't find it. You won't find it. And by the way, the guy who disarmed one of the terrorists in Australia, he's got a very Middle Eastern name. And again, the left jumping the gun. Well, it was a Muslim that stopped another Muslim. Wrong. He was a Syrian Christian that stopped the Muslim from killing more Jews. Interesting, isn't it? Nobody cares about offending Jews. Nobody cares about offending Christians. Nobody cares about offending any of these other groups. Nobody. But you make a joke about Islam and it's like a warrant out for your arrest. And by the way, in their communities, there's like talk about you dying. You remember Charlie Hebdo out there in, I think it was Paris, that magazine? Someone drew a picture of the Prophet Muhammad, and you're not allowed to do that. So what did they do? An Islamist walked into the headquarters of the magazine, started shooting. Or was it a car bomb? I'm not sure, but people died. In other words, they didn't like what something published, what a magazine or a publication put in their magazine, so they killed people over it. I don't like what the New York Times puts in its newspaper and on its website. You don't see me strapping on a vest and driving into their lobby and blowing myself up I don't like what CNN says most of the time, unless it's Scott Jennings. I don't like what the mainstream media says. I don't like what, USA Today prints. You don't see any of us going, you know what we got to do? You know what we got to do? We got to go in there. We got to just start. We got to start causing like real physical chaos with, loss of life. You don't see any of us. There are, around the world, the Jews are once again the bad guys. You don't see Jews driving car bombs into crowded places and exploding. You don't see it. I'm just pointing that out, right? For all these people, well, we're just noticing that. I'm noticing some things too. And it's been like this for a long time. Well, we don't want to increase tensions with who now? With who? Because you seem to have no problem increasing tensions with Christians, with Jews, with any other religious group. But when it's Islam, it's like, well, we don't want to increase tensions with them because if we do, somebody might get killed. Why is that allowed? Well, appeasing a bully does not stop the bully. Confronting the bully stops the bully. And it may get messy. And you may get cuts and you may get bruises and you may get a couple of teeth knocked out. But you know what? The bully will stop. Or it may give other people some confidence to stop the bully. Well, here in the United States, we got a whole hell of a lot of bullies that we got to take care of. And in Los Angeles, this happened yesterday. And, I'm not... Look, I grew up post 9/11. We decided in New York, the terrorists are not going to win. We are not going to live in fear. And I am not telling you to live in fear. I am telling you, be vigilant and pay attention. Do not get distracted by trivial nonsense and understand that this is the threat that we need to confront right here. Federal authorities say they disrupted a credible terrorist threat over the weekend, arresting 4 alleged members of a radical pro-Palestinian extremist group. Pro-Palestinian, you don't say. Didn't we talk about yesterday that Iran attempted to justify the actions of those radical Islamic terrorists in Australia by saying, well, this is because of the Israel-Hamas war. Oh, so you mean to tell me that 15 people in Australia who were just celebrating Hanukkah are dead? And they had nothing to do with the Israel-Hamas war? And they're dead just because 2 people decided, well, those Jews, we don't like those Jews. ISIS told us to kill Jews, so there's a bunch of them. Let's just open fire into a large crowd of them. How does that have anything to do with the Israel-Hamas war? They're in Australia. They're not in Israel. They're not on a battlefield. They're at a park, at a tourist destination, Bondi Beach in Australia, celebrating a Jewish holiday. Could you imagine? You had people in Florida. Who cried in front of a microphone because somebody was eating bacon. And now I have to relive it. Poor thing. Oh, my heart bleeds for you. That was a terrible thing to do. You have Muslims now just targeting Jews. Think about what has happened in this country. Take Australia out of the mix just for a second. In the name of free Palestine, in the name of anti-Jewish sentiment, think about the acts of terror that have been committed in this country since the beginning of the year. Governor Josh Shapiro's home was lit on fire. New Year's Day, there was an ISIS attack in New Orleans. Remember that? How about those two Jews? One of them was a Messianic Jew who was murdered. Both of them murdered in D.C. outside of the Jewish Museum. What about the Minneapolis Catholic school? All those anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, anti-Jew, pro-Palestine messages written on the gun. What about our National Guard soldiers here in our country in Washington, D.C. shot, one of them killed by a radical jihadist Afghan refugee. And I know I'm missing a bunch. But here we go again. At Michigan on Halloween, a terror plot was thwarted in Michigan. Just a month and a half ago. The FBI told Fox News Digital that members self-identified as part of a radical offshoot of the Turtle Island Liberation Front, an extremist group motivated by pro-Palestinian, anti-law enforcement, and anti-government ideology. Gee, who does that sound like? Sounds like Antifa to me. Let me play for you, U.S. Attorney out there, Bill Assaley, out in Los Angeles, announcing this major bust that should surprise nobody, by the way. Listen to this.
Valuable assistance over the weekend with a very complex and coordinated search warrants that were done. The charges we are announcing today stem from the defendants and their co-conspirators' detailed, coordinated plot to bomb multiple U.S. companies on New Year's Eve. Thankfully, that plot has now been foiled thanks to the hard work of the FBI and the Department of Justice. This investigation was initiated in part due to the September 2025 executive order signed by President Trump to root out left-wing domestic terror organizations in our country, such as Antifa and other radical groups like the Turtle Island Liberation Front. As the president made clear, recent attacks across the country have highlighted the grave threats posed by these far-left domestic terror groups. These threats are sophisticated, organized campaigns of targeted intimidation, radicalization, threats, and violence designed to silence opposing speech, limit political activity, and direct policy outcomes, and prevent the proper functioning of a democratic society. In direct response to the president's order, the Attorney General issued a memo to our offices implementing and mobilizing federal law enforcement to prioritize and counter domestic terrorism and political violence investigations. As a result of those directives, we built this case. Both my office and the FBI have invested substantial resources into investigating and charging these organizations. And if anyone does not believe that members of these groups are organized, sophisticated, and extremely violent, let me tell you about the plot in this case. The four defendants are Audrey Carroll, 30 years old. The pictures, I think we have them somewhere. We'll put them up here. Audrey Carroll, 30 years old. Zachary Aaron Page, 32. Dante Gaffield, 24. And Tina Lay, 41. Each from the Los Angeles area. Each is charged with conspiracy and possession of an unregistered destructive device in violation of Title 26, United States Code Section 5861D. We intend to file additional charges in the coming weeks as we finish reviewing the evidence. The defendants are all radical anti-government members of the Turtle Island Liberation Front, which, according to their own social media, is an anti-capitalist, anti-government movement that calls for their associates to rise up and fight back against capitalism. One of the leaders of the organization, defendant Audrey Carroll, helped organize an even more radical faction of the group called the Order of the Black Lotus.
Sounds like a bunch of real nice guys. A Turtle Island Liberation Front Instagram account said its founding chapter is in Los Angeles, and its goal is to free Turtle Island, an indigenous name used to refer to North America, from the illegal American empire. Quote, free Palestine, free Hawaii, free Puerto Rico, the account posted. Freeing the world from American imperialism is the only way to a safe and peaceful future. Attorney General Pam Bondi posted on X, here we go, stern talking, finger wagging. Oh, this is, we will not tolerate this. Okay, fine. We will not tolerate it. Good. You know, it also came out that apparently the Washington field office of the FBI is delivering information to Congress, another useful bunch of idiots, or useless, bunch of idiots, that there was no probable cause for the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid. What's going to be done about it? Pam Bondi's going to come out and do a press conference. We will not tolerate this. And then the files are going to wind up on her desk, and that's going to be that. Pam Bondi is the Bill Barr of Jeff Sessions. Would have fired her in July, but I'm not the president of the United States, and I get why he didn't do it. But my goodness, you cannot find a more inert, inanimate attorney general if you tried. Except Jeff Sessions would like a word, because he was that bad too. That's why I say Pam Bondi is the Bill Barr of Jeff Sessions. All right, so there's the terror plot. It was foiled in Los Angeles. No good. I mean, good that we foiled it, but there are 18,000 terrorists that apparently got in over the southern border. And we're going to talk about the southern border in just a second. Before we do that, I want to get to a word from our friends at goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. It's goldencrestmetals.com/LFA.
Hey everybody, Jeremy Harrell here. Look, I want to talk to you a little bit about gold and silver. When I was a kid, I always wondered what Fort Knox must look like. And when I was a kid, I always envisioned that when you would walk into Fort Knox, you would see just gold everywhere, literally raining gold, kind of like what you see behind me right now. Unfortunately, as a grown-up, I don't have that kind of imagination anymore, and I don't even have that much trust that Fort Knox has the 5,000 tons of gold that we're supposed to have there. Meaning that decades ago, we went off the gold standard in this country, which took the value of our dollar down to just mere pennies. And since our federal government doesn't want to go back to a gold standard currency, then it's time to us to take matters into our own hands. Have you ever thought about buying gold and silver? Have you ever thought about taking portions of your IRA or your 401k or your nest egg or your savings and putting it into gold and silver, either all or a portion of it? Have you ever wanted to purchase silver like this in bullion or premium? I know I do. And I know I wanted to take matters back into my own hands, which is why I have worked with Golden Crest Metals to do that. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA is going to be your go-to, absolutely transparent and trusted partner. Now, you can go to that website or you can call 888-308-4202. And what the good thing about this is they're going to guide you. They're going to talk to you. They're going to guide you. They're going to give you all the answers to your questions. And there's going to be no hidden fees. It's completely transparent. No hidden fees, no pressure, no surprise markups whatsoever. Clients get to see everything before they purchase. They've even agreed to lower the minimum investment to the LFA audience in order to make sure that everybody has access to this. Free IRA storage, free insured shipping, and a full range of precious metals from gold, silver, palladium, and platinum. And if it's easier for you to just maybe click a QR code, well, guess what? We've got that available for you too. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Click this QR code on your screen and it'll take you right there. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA. Again, GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA, or call 888-308-4202 today to reach these guys. They're going to be a great partner for you, just as they have been for me, and we absolutely recommend here at LFA TV, GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA.
GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Golden Crest. Just want to address two comments in our chat. Kelly Walker is in our chat here at Real Freedom Talk is here. Says that Pam Bondi canceled a hearing for the targeted parents to testify to her and then told the Senate parents are no longer being targeted as if it's like dead and buried. No, those parents deserve restitution. So that's number one. And I believe she also blamed we have a government shutdown. We can't do that. And the shutdown's over. Still didn't do it. No good. No good. And by the way, there are parents that are still being targeted or dealing with the fact that they were targeted. Second is at Rocky39. And again, I'm not doing this to be combative. I'm doing this to just share what I'm doing and my perspective. Says not everything is perfect. But here we go, bashing the people the president puts in place. What are we gaining? Absolutely nothing. Okay, what would we be gaining by doing absolutely nothing, though? Right? And criticizing the performance of an attorney general who has not delivered results is not bashing. Stop being sensitive. Stop looking for something to get offended about. It's not bashing. It is criticism. The second thing is the characterization is the people, the president. I am going and talking about a person that the president of the United States put in place that I am not satisfied with, and they work for us. When somebody works for me, or if you have an employer, right? You're an employee of a company and your performance is not meeting expectations, your employer is going to critique you and say, here's what I'd like you to do your job better so that your performance improves. That's not bashing, that's criticism. That's healthy. That's how this system is supposed to work. If we just place all of our faith in one guy and say, well, he put her in place, let's just put our feet up, that's how we lose. That's how we lose. Criticism is a lot different than bashing. I'm pleased with a lot of the cabinet. Hegseth, I think, has done a phenomenal job. Marco Rubio has done a phenomenal job. Tulsi Gabbard has done a phenomenal job. Bobby Kennedy has done a phenomenal job. I think J.D. Vance has been a great vice president. And so on. And Sean Duffy, I think, has been a very good transportation secretary. Lee Zeldin has been great with deregulation in the administration. Pam Bondi has been awful. Pam Bondi has been awful. And that's it. And it's not counterproductive to point that out. As a matter of fact, we would be doing Donald Trump a disservice for pretending like we're satisfied with the results of the Department of Justice right now. Last week, we talked about 18 U.S. Code Section 111, I think is what it is, obstructing a federal officer. You've got these people all across the country. All across the country. Obstructing ICE. Committing crimes. Nothing is happening to these people. Not one thing. Meanwhile, the previous DOJ, I don't like Merrick Garland, but at least he got some things done. Found every single grandma that walked into velvet robes to the Capitol and hit them with potential 20-year felony charges. Folks, I'm just saying. The Department of Justice can do it. For some reason, they're not. And that's not okay. That's not okay. Speaking of the FBI, they've released new images of the Brown University shooting suspect who is still at large. Still at large. And a full-blown manhunt is underway here. I want to play that for you now. It's not the best footage. It's not the best footage. Again, this is another one now unconfirmed, so I'm not going to say that this was radical Islamic yet. But unconfirmed that the shooter yelled something. Some people are saying that he yelled Allahu Akbar before committing the attack. Unconfirmed. But it is being reported. And I would not be surprised. But I don't know if that is exactly what happened. Okay? But here's some of the new footage for anybody who's in Rhode Island or the surrounding area. Take a look at this new footage. It's bizarre that this is the best we can do, but this is the new footage that was released by the FBI of the new person of interest. Has not been identified yet of the Brown University shooting.
This is the first video that we're showing you. This is the individual walking. It's on the sidewalk of Benevolent. And this is prior to the incident. Here we go again with is this video too, Mike. Again, you see him walking. Move on to the third video. These are some photos of this individual. And they will all be time-stamped. The last photo. Thank you. So we'll be providing this as well, and I ask you all to please make sure you put them up, and then anybody in the public that has any info about this individual, we ask that you call our tip line, and we'll also have the numbers in the website listed. Mayor?
$50,000 reward has been issued for information leading to the arrest of a person of interest in the Brown University shooting. So, and that investigation is being led by the Providence, Rhode Island law enforcement authorities, and is being assisted by the FBI. I think it was Australia that I saw this. Australia did the same thing that our previous FBI used to do. Oh gosh, my bad. Let me get this off the screen. We were aware of this person. So that's what he looks like. You can't really tell much from it. I think I saw Dawn in the chat, Dawn Biz, say, does this remind you of the J6 pipe bomber? It does. Grainy video. So we'll see where that goes. Yesterday, Donald Trump did something very good. And he declared fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. And does anybody disagree with this idea? I know we have very bad memories of the term weapons of mass destruction, right? We think George W. Bush, we think Iraq War, Saddam has WMDs, all of these things. And then, we went into Iraq and it was like, well, we found weapons of moderate destruction, and that messaging failed just terribly, right? But does anybody disagree that fentanyl is a weapon of mass destruction? Because it has been responsible for deaths of hundreds of thousands of Americans, including many children. So while this may not be like a nuclear warhead or a biological agent, and in a way it is sort of like a biological agent because it's a drug, very small amounts can cause very big problems for a lot of people. Here is what Donald Trump said about this fentanyl and the new declaration of the executive order declaring it a weapon of mass destruction.
Deadly fentanyl flooding into our country. With this historic executive order I will sign today, we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, which is what it is. No bomb does what this is doing. 200 to 300,000 people die every year that we know of. So we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. But before I sign the fentanyl order, we will pin the...
The reason why I like this designation is because while it may not be destroying property the way a bomb would, it is destroying lives, and that's honestly far more important than property. You could rebuild property. Once someone's dead, they're dead. Once you have someone who dies from a drug overdose from fentanyl, they're gone. That's it. You could rebuild a house. You can rebuild an apartment complex. You can repave a road. You could put new glass in windows where things have, gone through them. You cannot bring somebody back who has died of fentanyl.
And it only takes like the tiniest little bit.
I mean, it's a small amount.
And so the amount that they're bringing is able to kill en masse.
I mean, there was an estimate
weapon of mass destruction.
There was an estimate that some of the amount of fentanyl that came over the border under the Biden administration in just 1 month could have wiped out the entire country.
Right. That's a weapon of mass
could
destruction.
Have. That's not to say that tiny little bit of, but it could have. And so maybe because of the term destruction, some folks have an issue with destruction, right? So it's not destroying property, okay? And that's the traditional use. How about weapon of mass death? Because I don't think that could be disputed at all. Just maybe make a new categorization or just leave it at WMD. I believe it is a weapon of mass destruction because it takes people's lives, it destroys families, it destroys livelihoods, it destroys our culture, it destroys childhoods. I 100% support this. And I think this is a major winning issue because remember, Trump derangement syndrome, right? What does the left do? Everything Donald Trump does, they immediately take the opposite side of. I was able to make a few funny bits over the course of the summer, right? Trump endorsed oxygen, don't shower with your toaster, don't drink the Molotov cocktails, right? So are they now, and I think they are in this case, are they now going to take the side of, well, no, fentanyl doesn't, it's not that bad. What? This is at the same press event yesterday. Tom Homan, who he wasn't around for a while, and I think that's because really a lot of his job was secure the border and make sure none of them are coming in, and that's what happened. Like this. Listen to Tom Homan. We saw him at an event here in Franklin, Tennessee last year, and this is the same guy that we saw. Winky was there. That we saw speaking to that crowd out there at in Franklin. Listen to how much this mission means to Tom Homan. Isn't it nice to have an actual border czar who goes to the border and addresses the border and fixes the border? Remember what we had for 4 years? The border czar who thought that Borders was a bookstore and not a place dividing the United States and Mexico and the United States and Canada? Listen to Tom Homan and listen to how much this mission regarding immigration, securing the border, drugs, and human trafficking means to him. I think this energy should be contagious for every American.
6% decline. 96% less people are coming. How many women aren't being raped? How many children aren't dying making that journey? How many women and children aren't being sex trafficked into this country every day? How many known suspected terrorists aren't just walking across that border? President Trump and this administration is saving thousands of lives every month. Hard stop. That's just a stone cold fact. I'm just proud to be a part of this. I work with Steve Miller every day. Steve Miller is one of the most brilliant people I've met in my entire life.
Thousands of lives saved every month. And honestly, because of the offensive operations against these drug boats, which, by the way, we got another one yesterday. Boom. That was a big explosion, too. It was like, looked like the 4th of July. Someone said, they're dropping bigger bombs so they don't have to drop 2 anymore. Fine. Blow them out of the water. Blow them out of the water. You see how much this means to Tom Homan? Man, I respect that guy. I absolutely respect that guy. And what a job he has done. And those are the accomplishments that we should be applauding and promoting by the administration. By far, the border has been, in the administration's first 11 months, the border has absolutely been the biggest success story. And the reason why we don't have more success stories is because Congress is just a mess. And that's why I never thought I'd be taking this position, but that's why I say, you know what? This filibuster, I get it. I get why it's there. It's antiquated. It's probably time to get rid of it. All right. We hit 800, I see. Meemaw's excited. So we're honking the hog. There's Mo. We're honking the hog. There it is. Celebratory 800. For those of you who are here, why are we honking the hog? Because we hit 800 likes, thumbs up on this video. So drop down below the video if you're watching. Hit that thumbs up button. Create a Rumble account. Join us in our chat. We definitely want to see you. Quick break. Let's get to word from our friends over at Silent. SLNT.com/SHAWN. Let's face it, as much as we don't like it, your phone is a tracking device. Government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even cyber criminals. These pesky, pesky people. They're all fighting for a piece of your digital footprint, and they don't ask. They just go on and take it. That is why Silent exists. Silent makes Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals like cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, and near-field communication. No signal means no tracking, no remote access, and no breadcrumbs. It's the same technology that is trusted by special operations teams worldwide, used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure communications wherever the mission leads. And right now, it is available to you. That technology is available to you to protect your family, protect your freedom, and secure your digital footprint. All you got to do, drop your phone in a silent Faraday sleeve, and it is off the grid, completely silent, and invisible to the outside world. From their backpacks to their sleeves to their crossbodies, Silent's patented technology gives you control of your privacy. Just visit slnt.com/Sean, SHAWN, to get 15% off and free shipping on qualifying orders. That is Silent, SLNT. SLNT.com. Promo code Sean. Protect your rights, secure your data, and stay one step ahead. SLNT.com/Sean. SLNT.com/Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November. Next up, a message from our friends over at Captain Shitty's. It's Captain Shitty's Southwest Salsa. And a quick message about some of the issues with shipping today. I know there have been a ton of problems. Apparently, this is what I've been told, okay? The issues stem from USPS, and they are resending every order that they've gotten, that they have sent out via USPS. They are now sending via UPS. Some of those orders have been delivered. Folks who have, we've taken some information, forwarded it to them. So the UPS shipments seem to be working. The USPS shipments are a disaster. So Captain Shitty's, folks, they offer a bootylicious two-pronged attack on hunger with this legendary Southwest salsa and robust beef sticks. The salsa is a chunky treasure of corn, black beans, and jalapenos, delivering an authentic meal-in-a-jar experience. Their beef sticks, meanwhile, are a hearty protein-packed snack with multiple tangy flavors, satisfying your inner pirate with every salty bite. Just check it out at CaptainShitties.com, SCHIDDYS. CaptainShitties.com. CaptainShitties.com. Again, for those who had some problems, you could email us at ungovernedshow@gmail.com. I've also gotten a few messages through the website. What I was told this morning was that every order that was sent via United States Postal Service, USPS, was for some reason disrupted or interrupted. Everything else is going out again via UPS, but you can send information to us. Let me know order date, order number, if you can, ungovernedshow@gmail.com. We talked about the border. The border is absolutely the biggest success right now. And the amount of illegal aliens that are being arrested and deported and taken into custody that have committed just awful crimes. Remember, 100% of illegal aliens are criminals, right? If you cross the border illegally, you come into the country illegally, that is a crime. So you are already a criminal, okay? Not just in my eyes, but in the eyes of the law. You're a criminal. You've broken the law. Federal immigration officers in Minnesota have arrested more than 400 illegal aliens, including convicted pedophiles, rapists, and violent offenders during Operation Metro Surge in Minnesota. A crackdown officials say was necessary after state and local sanctuary policies allowed dangerous criminals to just roam free. DHS Assistant Tricia McLaughlin blasted Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey for failing to protect the people of Minnesota. Tim Walz and Jacob Frey failed to protect the people of Minnesota. They let these monsters and child predators roam free. Thanks to our brave law enforcement, Minnesota is safer with these thugs off of the streets. Instead of thanking our law enforcement for removing criminals from their communities, Tim Walz and Jacob Frey continue to demonize our brave law enforcement. DHS officials offered the following examples of the worst criminals arrested by Operation Metro Surge. Ban Dulassane, a 47-year-old criminal illegal alien from Burma who has been convicted of third-degree criminal sexual conduct using force or coercion in Nobles County. Sentenced to 4 years in prison and 10 years of probation, Dulassane has had a final order of removal since February of 2014. Vanalut Kiomini, a 59-year-old criminal illegal alien from Laos, who was convicted of 2 counts of rape in Columbus, Ohio. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison. Kiomani has had a final order of removal since December 17th, 2009. Singh Radskimakam, a 52-year-old criminal illegal alien from Laos who has been convicted of 4th-degree criminal sexual conduct using force or coercion in Russo County. He was sentenced to 18 months in prison and 10 years of probation. Radzmikam has had a final order of removal since March 30th, 2004. Liban Ali Osman, a 43-year-old criminal illegal alien from Somalia who was convicted of robbery in Columbus, Ohio. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Osman has had a final order of removal since May 17th, 2011. Tu Vang, a 42-year-old criminal illegal alien from Laos who was convicted of first-degree criminal sexual conduct with a child under 13. Vang has had a final order of removal since October 31st, 2006. Por Mua, a 50-year-old criminal illegal alien from Laos. A lot of these people coming from Laos. was convicted of first-degree great bodily harm and sentenced to 14 years and 7 months, third-degree sexual conduct and sentenced to 18 months, sexual intercourse with a child in California and sentenced to 210 days. What? And false imprisonment in California and sentenced to a year and 4 months. Mua has had a final order of removal since October 31st, 2000. Javier Bulmaro Turrubiartes, a 49-year-old criminal alien from Mexico who has been arrested for soliciting children through electronic communication to engage in sexual conduct and convicted of hiring or agreeing to hire a child under 16 for prostitution, for which he was sentenced to just 75 days in jail and 75 days of work release. Samvang Prakansari, a 63-year-old criminal illegal alien from Laos who was convicted of third-degree criminal sexual conduct and second-degree assault with a dangerous weapon. He was sentenced to a total of 8 years and 6 months for these crimes. Chancery has had a final order of removal since May 23rd, 2001. And finally, Joel Cuadal-Ocilotl, a 51-year-old criminal illegal alien from Mexico who was convicted of third-degree assault with intent to cause physical injury in New York and driving while impaired in Minnesota. Cuadal-Ocilotl, I really don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. It's a bunch of letters. Has had a final order of removal since February 3rd, 2010. The order was reinstated on May 12th, 2012 and November 4th, 2020. These are the people the Democrats are saying should remain in our country. If you came into this country illegally, you need to be deported, full stop, no exceptions. And if you're, if you're thinking you want to come back, self-deport, because if you are scooped up by ICE and forced to leave, you're never coming back. Thank you so much to everybody watching and listening. Jeremy Harrell up next with Live from America right here on LFA TV. Head over to the LFA TV store. Pick up your last-minute holiday gifts at lfatv.us, lfatv.us, lfatv.us. Click on that LFA TV store tab right here and then scroll down. You see look at this. Look at all these new additions to the LFA TV website. Wait, go back. Look at the featured items right there. Look at an apron. Make America healthy again. That's cool. My president came early this year. Trump and Vance. In my Trump era, there you go. Make Christmas great again. The Trump Grinch. You got the Christmas tree with Trump's hair. Nothing better than all that on the LFA TV store, lfatv.us, lfatv.us, lfatv.us. Jeremy Harrell up next, as our favorite president would say. We will never give up, we will never give in, and we will never ever surrender. And if all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place, rumble.com/LFATV, 10 a.m. Eastern time for Ungoverned. Jeremy up next, in the words of John Fetterman. Good night, everybody. Bang gavel. And thank you for your attention to this matter.